The Justice Files. The Justice Files. The Justice Files. The Justice Files. You got no damn right. The Justice Files.
Disclaimer. The information in this video is not meant as legal advice and is not meant to harass anyone, but is an attempt to make a lawful private arrest according to the rule of law and during a time of secret societies and widespread official corruption. Some of the evidence presented is done under fair use that permits the use of copyrighted and other material to achieve a public benefit. I, Randy LaHoo, will continue hearing witness testimony in my internationally recognized common law court of record, organized under the law of nations. I, Randy LaHoo, understand that I am still sworn to my oath of truth, as I continue providing statements and information to this matter that seeks to achieve a lawful arrest as part of a continuing common law fresh pursuit of known violators. Probable cause evidence: misprision of felony and obstruction of justice. How did they all get it so wrong? On December 19th, 2017, I personally handed the Sanford City Council my evidence and questions that will help lead us to the truth. To date, however, none of these questions have been answered publicly or to me privately, despite my written Freedom of Information request for evidence of what actions were taken on the matter. The City Council's just us behavior is unwarranted concealment. That's violating their pledge to ensure equal justice for all.
My name is Randy LaHoo. I work for the Cockpit Cafe. I brought some evidence with me here that I'd like to present to the council. And I don't know if you want that now.
Sure. Bob, could you grab those?
I'm speaking for Renee Bernier, who owns the Cockpit Cafe located at the Sanford Seacoast Regional Airport. The evidence that I have with me tonight will show that something is very wrong with the City of Sanford when Renee Bernier is rejected by the City Council for being a successful businesswoman, as she was told on December 12, 2017. While her concerns of potential criminality and collusion are dismissed, as the city manager said, as rants on legal terms and this, that's, and the others, and misleading. It was a painful week. I'll say that. It was a painful week and not taken seriously when he was referring to the 30-page report or the answer that was given to the city's lease proposal that we saw some of up here, that if you got a 30-page proposal, how do you answer to the lease proposal? How do you truncate it into this small amount? Anyways, given the criminal nature of these concerns, some participants may feel a need to invoke their right to remain silent if they feel their answers could implicate them in crimes. Although invoking such a right by itself is not proof of guilt, it can affect the outcome.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second? I'm sorry, sort of a clarifying question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. LaHoo, I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly when you assert that criminal behavior took place.
Well, I'm not saying that it did, sir, but I believe that law enforcement authorities should be consulted to find out.
To find out what, sir?
Well, I don't know how to put these things up here, but sir, I'm holding a document written, at least it's signed by Allison Rogers, dated October 20th. And as we now know, that letter is not correct. Let me read part of that letter to you, sir.
What I'm interested in particular, sir, is what criminal laws you believe may have been broken.
Well, sir, I'm holding in my hand what I believe to be a forgery. Forgery is a crime.
It is.
I believe this document also identifies that an amount is to be paid that we now know is not correct. And I believe that that would be the crime of fraud. And I believe where it was mailed through the certified mail through the United States Postal Service, that would be the crime of mail fraud. And where it was emailed to Renee Bernier, I believe that would be the crime of wire fraud. Has anyone consulted law enforcement to see if that is the case?
I can't see that far, so it hasn't reached me yet. So
Well, I'd like to put it up on the screen, but I don't know how to do that, sir. But we
Can
could
I ask
have
you, are you talking
Allison
about
Rogers.
are you talking about the calculation of rent letter?
Yes, I am. It's called, it's an October 20th letter. And when Renee Bernier spoke to this letter on November 14th, she said that her attorney told her that the rent was calculated correctly and that she had paid November's rent. And the city manager told her that she'd not been billed, that had been corrected. But that night we had to send another email to get it corrected, when I believe that Allison Rogers could have gotten up and explained that there was a miscalculation and that Renee did pay the bill and that the check had been cashed, because the cash showed that it was cleared on the 10th when the meeting was on the 14th of November.
excuse me.
So we have a number of questions about this document.
Sure.
Did anybody even do the calculation? The calculation says that she's to pay an annual rent on a monthly basis. But yet this calculation, rather than dividing, multiplies. So we have a number of questions about that.
Councilor Stackpole, do you have a question?
I with all respect, what does this have to do with whether we accept or reject an RFP?
May I answer that?
Sure.
Sure.
Well, because I believe that we all have equal protection under the law, and that we all have a right to be able to have a fair process, and know that the people that are involved in the process are telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and they're not embellishing it, and they're not...
Excuse me, sir. So you're implying that the RFP process was not a fair process? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the evidence
to me,
is saying...
that's what you're saying.
The evidence is saying that, sir.
Okay, hold on.
What,
So,
to me, no. You're saying that.
I'm saying that the evidence is saying... Do you
You're
deny that
standing
this
up
is
on that document. You're saying that the RFP process was not a fair process.
Well, let us ask Allison Rogers, did she write this letter?
I'm not talking about the letter.
Yes, please.
We're back to the RFP.
Hold on.
Well, sir, if the process is tainted by forgery, fraud, and statements that are simply not true, is that a fair process?
You had Miss Bernier
Mr.
had the opportunity to write an RFP and submit it to ask questions before September 1st, as I understand it. It was due September 15th. Why, if there were questions, if there were implications of criminality, as you've proposed, of unfairness, of, I'm not sure why didn't you bring it up at that point?
Why did it take from October 20th until November 15th? Renee Bernier asked the city manager, she actually told him, I paid November's rent.
Can we
this
go?
bogus
Well, I think the
amount.
We're talking about the RFP.
Councilor Stackpole. So I don't want to leave this hanging out in space. Did you have a response to this, or do you want to hold it? Okay, thank you.
So that remember when I said during that advisory committee we had that spreadsheet? So I made an error when we looked back at her lease agreement, in just like you said, the way that the multiplication worked out. So made an honest error, human being, went before the advisory committee, sat with them, they said, yeah, looks like an error, to the point where they paid the rent. then came back, they did talk with Steve, we looked at it again, and I realized, yes, I made a mathematical error. So in December, they paid a lower rent to make up for the couple $100s that they paid in excess the week before, the month before. And then they know going forward that the correct rent is $1,085 per month. So it was a human mistake that was made and was remedied. I called Renee into my office. My ops and maintenance supervisor was there, and apologized to her, let her know that if anything like this happens in the future, she can feel free to come into my office and just talk to me about it. But that mistakes do happen, and I did apologize to her and tell her that I was sorry.
Can you tell us why you did not get up on November 14th and explain that you had made a mistake then, so that we could have corrected the bogus payment?
It sounds like it has been corrected, sir. So
The bogus payment was corrected only after the November 14th meeting. Renee was still paying the amount. The amount was not to be refunded. Is there any documentation showing that the amount would have been refunded
Can I ask a question?
if she had not requested it again?
Are the balances square now?
Yes.
Did we adjust the rent downward to accommodate the increase that was incorrectly applied?
Yep.
Okay. And now we know what it is moving forward.
But she was also blamed for the delays in the process. She had asked the city manager on November 6th to have this clarified. No answer was given. She had asked the city council on November 9th to have it clarified, and no answer was given. She asked directly to the city manager, and you, Mr. Cody, to your credit, you said, we want to make sure we're on the right page for this payment, but it turns out that you weren't on the right page when you made the vote.
But Mr. LaHoo, it sounds like we're all human beings. We're friends and neighbors around the community.
Exactly.
We're doing the best we can. It sounds like we made a mistake and we corrected that mistake. I don't think you're disputing that.
but
It sounds
how-
like your dispute has been the timing of our action. You know, I don't have a time machine to go back to a month ago. I think that we realized it was a mistake. We've corrected that. These things happen frequently in government. So I'm not sure what the dispute is. It sounds like we lowered your rent to accommodate the increase, which we apologize, but I'm not sure what the bone of contention is at this point.
Well, sir, is it common practice to, well, let me ask this question. What prompted the review that led for the false claim? What prompted the review that made that brought up the concern that the rent was not calculated one day after Renee submitted her answer?
Okay.
And how is that not retaliation?
Yeah, I don't know. And
You don't know, but
what would
should a jury
Let me ask you
examine
that
that to
question. So
determine?
let me ask you the same question. What would then prompt our response to pay her the money back?
Excuse me?
We paid her the money back.
That's right.
Right. Why would we do that if we're trying to hide
But
this?
why did it take so long for the city manager to answer when silence?
So I'm not going to speculate on that. I don't know. He's not here. I'm not speaking for him. But
So
here's
how
what we're
did
gonna
the
do.
city council not know?
In all due respect, Ms. Liu, you haven't once mentioned
Well, I'd
the
like to
RFP or the lease agreement. So here's
I'd like to submit these questions.
absolutely bring
and
them on down.
concerns.
Yep. Hammond and Bob. Council Hanslet, you've had your hand up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Rogers, would you please look at the document that Mr. LaHoo is asserting was forged, and tell us if your signature is represented on that document and if it's a letter that you in fact wrote? Okay, so just because Ms. Rogers wasn't near yeah, you can answer.
Yeah, that's the original letter that I sent. That's not a forgery. I wrote that letter.
Thank you very much.
The Justice Files. The Justice Files. The Justice Files. The Justice Files. You got no damn right. The Justice Files.